Good afternoon, boys and girls. This is Ms. Shields from Faxon Elementary. Today I am here to help you with adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Let's go ahead and get started. You will see on my screen that I have 5 simple steps that you can use in order to help you with these types of problems. Feel free to write them down so that you can go back and reference them in your notes later. Step number 1, we are going to read the problem. Step number 2, write out the problem. Step number 3, find the LCD, or least common denominator. Number 4, rewrite and solve the problem. Number 5, simplify if it is needed. So we're going to start back up here at step number 1, and we're going to read the problem. Yesterday, Carson threw away 1 1/3 pounds of paper packaging. He also threw away 3/4 of a pound of plastic packaging. Altogether, how many pounds of packaging did Carson throw away yesterday? I have to ask myself, what is this asking me to find? In this case, it is asking me to find out how many pounds of packaging Carson actually threw away. This word altogether means we have to combine things together. We're putting them all together. And what are we putting together? We are going to put together the 1 1/3 pounds of paper that he threw away and combine that with the 3/4 of a pound of plastic he threw away. So we are ready for step number 2. We're going to write out that problem. So I'm going to write our problem. We're going to have 1 1/3 And since we are going to combine it, that means we're going to add. So we're going to add 3/4. I'm giving myself plenty of room so that it is easier for me to work out our problem and things aren't all bunched up together. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is find the LCD, or the least common denominator. So in that case, we're going to keep a list over here of our least common denominators. And the denominators that we are working with is a 3 in 1 1/3 and a 4 in 3/4. So we are going to find the least common denominator of these two numbers. And we do that by skip counting. So I'm going to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. And then down here, I am going to count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So now we need to look at this and decide which one is the smallest one that they have in common. So I always like to start with the bigger of the two numbers and use those multiples first. So we have 4. Do you see a 4 up here? I do not see a 4. Then we have an 8. Do you see an 8? We have a 12. Do you see a 12? Of course, and so 12 is going to be our least common denominator. We are now going to use that 12 and go to step number 4 and rewrite our problem. So we have to rewrite our problem using 12 as a denominator. So my problem is now going to read 1 and something over 12, and this one will read something over 12. So now we need to decide, what is that something that goes there? So I look and I have to decide 3 times something equals 12. I can go back over here and decide it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And if I multiply the bottom denominator by 4, I have to multiply the numerator by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Now we follow that same step over here and decide 4 times something equals 12. 4 times what equals 12? 1, 2, 3. 4 times 3 equals 12. And whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. Very good. 3 times 3 is 9. We have now rewritten 1 1/3 as 1 4/12 and 3/4 as 9/12. We can now solve that problem by adding them together. First thing I need to decide is I have a whole number here of 1. I do not have a whole number, so this is the same thing as 1 plus 0, and 1 plus 0 is 1. And then we have 4 plus 9. 9 plus 4. That equals 13. And my denominator is going to stay the same since we found a common denominator, and my denominator will still be 12. Step number 5 is to simplify if we need to. We know that we need to simplify this problem because it is an improper fraction. Our numerator is larger than our denominator. So I have to think about how many pieces made up my whole. And we said 12 pieces made up a whole. If I had 12 out of 12 of them, then I had one whole. If I have one whole here, and I have one hole here, I am going to be left with 2 holes. But how many do I have left here? Well, 13 minus 12 is 1. So I have 2 and 1/12. I'm going to show you what this looks like when we are using fractions. Fraction strips. So on here I have fraction strips that are divided into 12 pieces. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color in that 1 4/12. One whole, so I'm going to color in the whole thing. And then I'm going to shade in 4 out of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. We added to that 9/12. So 9 out of 12. So we're going to count 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You now see that what I have shaded is 2 holes and 1 out of 12, or 1/12. So I have 2 and 1/12. Which is what we got here as our answer. So we did a very nice job following those steps. We're going to see if we can follow those steps again, and this time we're going to try to work through a subtraction problem following our steps. So step number 1, we're going to read the problem. Mike has 1 5/12 books left to read for a school project. Mike read 1 1/9 books on Sunday. How many more books does Mike have to read? Again, we ask ourselves, what are we trying to find? In this case, we're trying to find how many more books does he have to read? How many more means that he read some, but he still has some more that he needs to read. So he has to read 1 5/12. He has already read 1 1/9. We need to use those two numbers to decide how many more does he need to read. So we're going to write out our problem. We're going to start with 1 5/12. That's how much they said he has to read for his project. But he has already read, so we're going to take away what he already read, and he already read 1 and 1/9. So our problem now is going to be 1 and 5/12 minus 1 and 1/9. We're going to find that LCD, or that least common denominator. What are the denominators that we are going to use? I see we have a 12 and we have a 9. So we are going to skip count by 12s. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. So now we have a list of our multiples. Now we need to find which one do they have in common. What is the smallest one they have in common? Since 12 is our bigger number, we're going to start with the 12. Do we have a 12 in this row? No. Do we have a 24? No. Do we have a 36? Yes, we do have a 36. So 36 is going to be our LCD, or least common denominator. So we need to rewrite our fractions using 36 as our denominator. I didn't leave myself enough space on this one, so please make sure you're leaving yourself some room when you are solving these problems. Okay. So 12 times what equals 36? We go right back over here. 1, 2, 3. 12 times 3. Whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. So 5 times 3 is 15. 9 times what is 36? 1, 2, 3, 4. 9 times 4. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 1 times 4 is 4. Now we are ready to solve that problem. We're going to subtract our whole numbers first. 1 minus 1 is 0. 15 minus 4. 15 minus 4 is 11. My denominator stays the same, so I have 11 36th of a book left to read. If we go through and we look at that using our fraction strips, we had one whole, that's the whole book that he read. And he had 1536. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 36. Now he had already read one whole book. He had read this whole book. So he read all of this, and then he read 4 out of 36. And you'll see what he has left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of that 36. So he had 11 36 remaining. 11 36. That is all I have for you guys today. Please come back and watch some more videos, and if you have any questions, let us know. Have a great day.